And now we have with us CCMB Director Vinay K. Nandikuri. So, can you please share some information that you have with you about the Omicron?
Okay, as of now, Omicron is found in 23 countries, and GISAID website gives 309 sequences have been deposited in the this particular website. And majority of the sequences come from South Africa, but you also have sequences coming from Ghana, Botswana, and other places. And as a variant, it has 32 mutations in what we call as a spike gene. The spike gene is the gene that is present on the surface of coronavirus. And this particular thing has approximately 32 mutations in Omicron variant. Some of these mutations are thought to be, are known to be in other variants, known to be important for transmission or higher levels of transmission. Some of them are known to be involved in immune escape, what we call as if you are previously vaccinated or if you are previously infected, you get protection. But when all these mutations come together in one strain, how it behaves is something only science will tell.
Okay. Do you have any information regarding its spread of the new variants? Because there are some speculations that Omicron is spreading very rapidly.
See, there are two things. One is that WHO says, I was looking at WHO website today morning, it says that it is thought to be. So as of now, thought to be is not scientific evidence. And again, in about a week to 10 days, or based on the mutations, it is looking, or the preliminary data seems to suggest, that's all the kind of words that are used. So would it spread faster? I believe we are at 2,000 cases. We will know with time. Right now, it has certain mutations that would allow it to spread faster based on previous data. Right now, how much it is happening on the ground is something that we will have to see. How much will it take over other variants, or like, how fast it spreads in a population. Only 2,000 cases, it's difficult to really talk about realistic data at this point of time, but it will be followed up by WHO and others. There are a lot
but why WHO announced it as a variant of concern? Because there are so many variations in coronavirus, but some variant as marked as a variant of concern or variant of interest. Why is it so?
So the way it goes is this. So once they see mutation spectrum of the sequences that are coming out, and if there is a cluster of, it starts showing up in a cluster population, they start getting a little bit concerned about it. And in almost 100 odd cases, or I think 200 cases came in South Africa, and it has 32 mutations. And these mutations, some of them already are known in other variants to give certain advantages to the virus. So that is why they did not want to wait any longer and made it a variant of concern. But the studies are still going on to get the answers for most of the other stuff and most of the other questions. The major questions are three. How protective, how much your previous vaccination or the infection protect you against Omicron infection? That is one. What is the seriousness of, or the seriousness of the infection once you get the virus? Okay, and how fast it is spreading. All these three will be elaborated over a period of time. Right now, majority of the talk is based on the mutations that are observed in the Omicron, and some level of data. And according to me, that is not sufficient to really make it completely clear that yes, it is spreading faster. Okay, it will reinfect people who are vaccinated, and this much protection the vaccine gives. These are kind of things you will only get to know with time.
Okay, as CCM is a member of INSACOG, which is extensively working on COVID genome sequencing and all. So have you got any samples, from last 10 days from international passengers?
We have around 6 airport samples from Hyderabad. Six airport samples, and we have approximately around 600 to 800 samples. I don't recall the exact number in November. I think around 800 samples in November. So the sequencing reactions are going on, and we will know in about next few days. We will finish all the sequencings. that are there with us, and then we will go into a more targeted approach for airport samples.
This may be too early to think about the vaccination efficacy on Omicron, but what is your tone on that? Because the spike protein have so many mutations and we have mRNA vaccines. Many of the vaccines are mRNA based. So what is your tone on that?
Yeah, many of the vaccines are spike based.
Yes.
Leaving with the exception of Bharat Biotech's Covaxin, which is a whole virus based. Many of the other vaccines, Covishield and mRNA vaccines, Moderna, Pfizer, they all are based on spike protein. And most of them use Wuhan original variant,
Yes.
which has hardly any, which is original. And right now we have 32 mutations in the spike. So will it work? How effective it is? We don't know. In case of Delta variant, which was before this, there were approximately, depending on the vaccine, mRNA vaccine was 80% efficacious. And as you start looking at it, something were 60%, some were 50%. You understand? So there is a variation. They have tested and found out how effective the vaccine is in preventing Delta infections. But such tests have not yet been conducted for Omicron. Right now, based on the mutations alone, you can say Omicron is going to do this, or Omicron will not worry about previous infection. That only spreads panic. Let's wait for the results.
So the medicines that we are using till now is remdesivir or some other medicines have been using for the patients who are affected with the corona and are in hospitalized. So do you think those medicines may work for the patients who are affected with the Omicron also?
Because they don't target spike, really speaking. Most of the medicines that we use do not actually target spike. I personally have not looked at it whether some of these, if there are mutations in the other genes, then that would in one way or other affect the binding of this so-called current drugs to the target. It's about, see, you have protein, correct? The target protein, and you have a drug. If there are mutations on the surface area where the drug is going to bind, it will have an impact. If that doesn't happen, it should work, but I have not looked at it. But I was told that the Pfizer medicine that has come up recently is likely to might work. But I think this needs a little more work from our end before I can actually make a statement. Yeah, they will work or they don't work. We have to look at it. It's a good question.
There is some debate on the booster dose vaccination. Do you think we really need to get booster dose?
See, I think booster dose in India is it is too early to talk about booster doses in our country. Let's talk in a country specific manner. In our country, majority of the people are single vaccinated. Okay, first let's get to a point where double vaccinated people are pretty high. And then below 18 years, we have not even vaccinated people. That has happened in Western world. And now you're talking again, this is what I believe, that we have 130 crore population. Even if you take some of the young people out, we still are, let's assume, around 90 crores. So still we need 180 crore to reach double vaccination. And you need at least 270 crores for the same population if you are going for triple. That's a huge, huge number. I think booster doses, it's too early to talk about all these things. First, our focus should be to double vaccinate all the people who are within India who are eligible for vaccination, right? Even every eligible person should take vaccine and they should be double vaccinated in a shorter time period. Vaccine does provide some level of protection. People who are vaccinated do not show severe symptoms. Even in Delta, it was shown that people who were previously vaccinated, they did not show major severe symptoms. And those, even if you showed severe symptoms, did not result in death. So there is a certain level of protection vaccination provides for people's, in terms of at least symptoms of the infection.
Scientists saying that the people who are immunocompressed, in those kind of people, there are some mutations of the viruses. Why is this happening so, sir?
See, virus actually accumulating mutations or virus getting mutated is a phenomena that happens. If you are an immunocompromised, virus persists in your body longer, little more than other people who are healthy, because healthy people will get rid of the virus faster. virus mutates. That's how it is. I mean, if you're staying longer, you'll mutate longer. I mean, in one sense, virus has a propensity to mutate. It's always the case. And some of the mutations are beneficial. Some of the mutations are not. So it retains only those mutations that are beneficial, and the other ones get eliminated. It's survival of the best mutations it can use for transmission, and then at a later point of time for replication inside your inside the cell. So immunocompromised have a little longer time virus residing in their body. And where did this virus come from? Some point of time it was there in animals, right? It came to us. So it always happens. That's how viruses evolve.
There is so much debate going on that corona may become the endemic. What is your turn on that?
That is generally the speculation that corona will become endemic because the majority of the world population is currently either vaccinated or already, I mean, not down, so majority of the world population is infected, but it's quite a lot of infections have happened in the places like India. In places in India, for example, in major cities, you have anywhere between 70 to 80% who are either infected or vaccinated, if you go with the Sero survey. Right? So, which essentially means that they are to an extent protected with the when next round of infections or next round of variant comes, hopefully. But the point is that yes, it might become endemic in the long run. So when it becomes endemic is something that we are waiting to see. I mean, but it is expected that this will one day become endemic. Right now, it is still a pandemic, but it might become endemic.
There any that kind of viruses which become an endemic?
Yeah, Haemophilus influenza at some one point of time between 1918 and 20 has killed almost 6 crore people across the world. It was a pandemic. It was a major pandemic. And all of you know flu. Flu is caused by this Haemophilus influenza. And now it is an endemic disease. So flu does happen to quite a lot of us. It is seasonal. And it happens sometimes, if it is happening in Delhi, it doesn't even happen in Hyderabad. So things like that. So it's an endemic. So yeah, diseases over a period of time, it is like coexistence. Virus and us find ways to coexist. So it does become, at some point of time, these things become endemic.
So finally, what is your message as a scientist to the people?
As a scientist to the people, I would suggest that if you are not vaccinated, please go for vaccination. And if you are singly vaccinated, go for the second dose. Anybody eligible should strive to get vaccinated. And the second thing is that, take precautions, avoid larger gatherings. If you are traveling, I mean, mask up, at least in major places like airports and all these things. Precautions, be aware of your surroundings. You would be, and then, as usual, typical COVID precautions like washing your hands, masking up, go for vaccinations. These are the only 2-3 things that will protect us eventually.
Thank you so much, sir, for the great info. Thank you.